All right, we got paired the boy. But we'll see what we get. So Sicilian, and I said closed. My opponent plays knight c6, and that does indeed take control of the d4, which we did not do with knight f3 and go for this. But usually when you go here, your plan, well, sometimes you can transpose if you can, or do some move or tricks to trick your opponent to some line where I could still go here and maybe get this d4 in, and but that is not in my plan. I'm just gonna play closed Sicilian or the Grand Prix. Let's go with the closed. Proper closed, I mean. Well, this is gonna happen probably always. My opponent is covering this square a lot. This is their square. Can't do much about that. So now we have some choices. Do we go f4 and knight under the pawn, or knight to knight ge2? At least we cover this square a little bit. This did block the bishop. Bishop here is legal move, forcing probably d6. This is not coming here yet too. f4 is legal. Can also tempted to just go for stupid. This is not the plan I usually choose, but since the pawn trust is usually pretty great against the blank pawn, maybe we could try like a actually bang through there. I don't know. I'm just gonna go with my usual flow in this. Take some very humble setup here. So let's question that pawn a little bit though. And then I'm gonna h3 it if they play d6, just so nobody's coming here. Maybe queen d2. Still, I think I'm gonna castle there. Can still play f4, but I don't know. I mean, maybe eventually and try to somehow play like this. That's definitely on the menu at some point. Castles. I don't think I'm gonna go this way. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. It is what it is. So this is here. f4 or castles. Let's just castle. This move, I'm not 100% sure how it works in this when they block the bishop like that. It's usually maybe better with the e6 knight goes there, keep this open, and like maybe the knight goes follow up here. This, of course, is also possible. Again, d4 is usually not in my plans, but we can of course do it if it's beneficial. I don't think it is at the moment, question mark. Question mark. So bishop d7. Just defense this. Assume it's gonna eventually lead to some kind of a b5 push, and the knight's already defended nicely. If you do it, well, b5 is not possible at the moment. I don't know. I'll go f4. Gonna go g4 and f5, like and maybe knight here. It is risky. It is risky business. Alrightio. e5. Well, we don't have to care too much about it. If I push g4, then maybe they'll take, and I don't know which way we take, and then they stick a knight there. That is definitely a possibility. I could push there. This is definitely a solid square now, though. I don't know. I'll just try to bang it through there. Plan is to play f5, but I assume we are not allowed that. Apparently we are. Well, I think we are going to do it. We could also stick the knight there, but let's just bang through here. I mean, probably should have questioned a little bit opening the file there, but nah. This is the way to try to keep it closed, but then they have to be careful that sack does not work at some point. Probably not instantly because the queen is there, but we can maybe try to sneak the knight there. Then we can also sneak the knight there instantly. Of course, they don't have to take or push. They can probably situate the knight there. Not sure what's the proper setup here. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I assume something knight there is gonna be a decent try at least. Alright. So, I don't know. I do kind of want to put the knight there before he does. Possible c3s. I guess he could go here and try to trade it off and then trade the other one off, or here if I try to support it, trade it, then trade another one off and like try to do some kind of a solid hang fortress kind of a situation going there. It's not really a fortress, but like trying to keep it all closed. I mean, we can pretty much ignore that. Also, it might be that if this plays here, I can perhaps sneak f6. The idea knight takes knight, pawn takes, and since we are on the rook, they probably don't have time to take here. Well, they have, but they're on my rook, but I'll promote to a queen and nobody's attacking the square. So we end up with a queen on f8. They might take here and I'll take back. Then I have two queens. So I don't think this is legal. Or, well, it's probably legal, but maybe not doable. Knight f6 is probably doable. Alright, they completely close it down. That is of course legal too. I'm very tempted just to go for it here. Yeah, let's go for it. There's a pawn sack. Yeah. I think I'm gonna snack it back instantly if they take. Oh, it's questionable if, which way I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna take, see which way they take. Here is a legal move. Here taking is legal move. Would love to get somebody on this light squares around this diagonal, so these things would come very, very dangerous. I think I'm gonna do it in this way. Saying, please take it, I don't care. I'm gonna get a nice juicy square on there. Also maybe there, but not sure what do we do on h5. It looks like it's in the face of the king, but it's also a little bit on the way there, and I don't think this is the bishop I want to ever capture, unless it leads to a mate. Of course we could have taken there, but I somehow thought like I'd rather have a square there, square to spare. Alright, so they're saying if you go there, I'm gonna chop your face off. Bang. Legal, probably. Tempted to go rook there, but does that lead anywhere though? Or somehow like bishop there, queen slides here, and maybe then there, and maybe that's more dangerous. This does not lead to some kind of a counterplay on this side. I could always take here and... Alright, so... There is the like take when the queen would not be here, but... Chop. c3 of course keeps things away from there. Would be a possibility. Okay, let's slide c3. Just to, like, I understand this knight could go there and pressure this, but since we have the bishop here, we don't probably have to ever do anything about the threat there. Now he gives me this square. If the knight slides back, well, like I said, I like this square. Now it has the downside that it is indeed here blocking the bishop. We could of course play here and or defend this, then slide here, but I'm not so sure about it. I'm gonna slide the bishop here instead. Okay, this comes with some threats too. Not only are we freeing this square, but now we are maybe threatening some kind of a sneaker there. Bing. Into the face. Here is some plan. Is that gonna lead to a mate? Who knows? But also, alright, so they did not defend against this threat. It's not winning me anything. Since I'm sacking a piece, I'm getting a piece back. But maybe we'll... Also, this kind of blocks the king. Where is it gonna go? I think I'll just bang it here, and it's a bit unpleasant. Maybe they should not take. I was gonna say that I don't know if this wins me material, but it completely opens this guy up. And also kind of makes this guy useful. Not sure that was the move. Just to do the check. Now this has some dilemmas. Big dilemmas. I guess he goes to the corner. Alright, my opponent resigned. Was that resignable yet though? Apparently it was, but I was not sure. What are we gonna do if he goes there? Because I can take here with check. Can do this check, but then he escapes. Which might be still really good, but maybe not. I assume this is the best move, just opening up the king and I don't know, maybe take here or this is unavailable. Unavailable. This also could be really strong, like slide to king a queen h2. Aiming at here and takes there. We are just gonna have another rook there, and if he tries to block, then we just take here, right? And if he tries to block, at least we can have a really strong looking check here. And this is not, it is in between, it just makes things worse at all points. He goes there only square. And then this is at least winning something. Because he has to kind of go into a discovered check somehow. Well, here actually, since that's not available. And then, well, things are gonna be bad all over. Unless this is somehow made. It is, right? Maybe king f7. King e8 saves him. If he goes here, this is made. But here. It's close to death, but this kind of annoyingly defends the rook, so it's not made. And if I check here, then he runs away. Of course, we could have some better things to do here again, like discover check. Maybe takes there then. Guess knight here is legal though. Oh, it's double check. Then this is probably illegal. Well, guess this is still legal square for the king, but I was thinking here and there, and we're kind of crashing through at least. Maybe I'm missing some checkmate somewhere though. Maybe there's something better, but whatever. Let's look at from the top. So this is what I used to play against Sicilian all the time. D3. Knight f6 is probably a little inaccurate. It blocks the bishop and it's just on the way a little. I think this, well, I think this is the main lines, or e6, d6. This might lead to somewhere similar though, but yeah, well, it also kind of plays against this plan, like I want to block the bishop. It wants to do stuff here, here, and here. And this is a little bit on the way, especially if white takes away this square from the knight. This kind of a plan is very typical in this. Trying to make the bishop, or unleash the bishop to b2. Yeah, knight g2. Maybe it was inaccurate there, but this is always the question mark, even against any main lines, is that you play. There you go for a proper closed, or you play the f4 and try to stick the knight there, and then it's a little like Grand Prix, but not really Grand Prix, with the bishop inside instead of somewhere out. But I sometimes like this kind of setup where the knight goes here. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest. Here or like here eventually. But yeah, this usually is a good square to guard against, and this is one annoying move that black could do, but I'm not sure how good it is in these where they'll block the bishop. So I don't know if I want to take instantly. I guess, well, true. Yes, I think we can take it, right? Twice. So it's probably not even available. F4, there, G4. How would Mr. Machine play this? We're out of theory. It does play F5, but no, it plays F5. So if takes. Is this so great? Question mark. Is this so great? Question mark. Knight takes F6, really? Where is this going? Is he gonna... There's no way he's gonna snipe the pawn, right? This looks stupid. Yeah. Just plays Queen H5, hits this. Dodges away. F6. And if this happens, then now what are you gonna do? Bishop E8. Meh. And then what? Just sack there. Yikes, can't take back. But still better for white for no reason at all. Yeah, it serves. I should not have turned on the engine. Instantly regret that. Stupid line. That line was not manageable at all for humans. He's trying to keep things closed. Instead, he wants to take here. This is usually happens a lot in the Sicilians, where you somehow F4 gives the black a nice square there. I don't know which way we take. I assume I take with the knight, so I'm going maybe have a knight outpost somewhere here. Maybe this is now threatening this, so black might have to snipe once there. And well, this is the usually in the proper ghost Sicilian, a bit of a dummy bishop. Bit of a dummy bishop. Sometimes it opens up well, and there's always all kind of tactics based on this, but sometimes it ends up being a dummy. It does protect the king somewhat when we're going burr with the ponies. There's at least somebody in front of the king. And they're good. They're just trying to keep it close, but it is very hard to play chess this way. It's a kind of easy pawn sack to make. Like, eventually this pawn is gonna come back, and then we are gonna have some play always against the H pawn. And black is very cramped there. Chop, chop. Knight there. I was thinking that they'll maybe take there, but then this knight has to be very careful if it jumps there, that it doesn't get trapped there. Probably safer there, and then I was kind of happy that maybe we'll just stick the knight there. Even though, again, thanks the pawn, kind of. Can always sack the knight back and win it there, and hopefully be doing well. They were afraid of this, and to be honest, this was not even my plan, so felt like a missed. Well, it's not gonna be easy to find a move for black that saves him here. Not that my plan is an actual checkmate, like it's not easy because I need somebody to cover these squares somehow. but it's still dangerous though. The knights and the... Well, the bishops are kind of eh. But maybe again, sack and f6 at the right point. After something even this. I don't know if this was necessary, but I wanted to keep the knight out of d4. They chopped. I get my e4 square for somebody. Okay, here they missed the idea of this and that, so I assume this something gets out of them. Discovery is the best. I don't know. I was probably gonna do this and then king here and rook here, or king somewhere and rook here, and see how he will deal with this, because it's very hard square to cover. This is not coming here, and he can't really run away because we just check him back. And still we have this kind of a sack and f6 at the right moment. I mean, it might be even an instant threat. I mean, maybe rook takes and covers this square. It's not made. But then we can maybe take and take. Yeah, it's very, very dangerous. Maybe we can also do a bishop check and come with the queen there. Yikes. Alright, but yeah, this runs into task. Let's see what Mr. Machine says here. F6, well, F6 is obvious. If here, probably the best move is take here. Also good. Also good. Anything is fine. And if he goes to the corner with chop. Not so good. Just takes. Another rook into the play. King goes somewhere. Then we just take here. Yeah, and if he does bishop block, I assume we just go here. Wow. Ay. Or something in those ones. Yeah, it's the king is just way too open. No ways of saving that. So it just resigned here. It's probably a little too early, but whatever. It was a game. Until next time. Ciao.